Yes, guys, UFC 314 is done and dusted now. So I'm gonna give you guys my fight card recap. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. We'll start with the Alright, we'll start with the main card. We're gonna go from top to bottom in this video, just because I feel like I want to talk about the more important fights first and get them out of the way, and then we can worry about the not necessarily shit, but the ones people care less about. And we'll start with Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Yeah, this is not to take anything away from Alex Volkanovski's performance, but if I'm completely honest, watching that fight, it made me it changed my whole perspective on Diego Lopez. Um, if you guys watched my pre-fight predictions, you would have seen I picked Alexander Volkanovski to win. However, I did feel like Diego Lopez had a big chance of catching him and stopping him, and I'm not gonna lie. Lopez did hurt Volk. I think it was in the third round, and I still feel like if Ilya was in that, it was still in the featherweight division, and he was matched up against Volk again, I think Ilya would still do the same thing. You could see if Lopez had a better skill set and was able to put it on Volkanovski, you could see he probably could finish Volkanovski. But I'm going to be completely honest, guys. After seeing Lopez against Alex, I don't think Lopez has the skill set to, as long as Volkanovski's there, I don't think Diego Lopez has the skill set to hang with Volkanovski. I don't think he can deal with the IQ of Volkanovski. I don't think he can go technique for technique with Volkanovski. In this fight, he was levels behind. He literally had a puncher's chance, and that was it. He came into the fight, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was a big Diego Lopez fan before, and there's one thing fighters do that really pisses me off. The UFC is mixed martial arts. So why are you coming into a mixed martial arts fight with the intentions of just boxing? Don't get me wrong. I know everything starts on the feet, and you should have a level of boxing that is elite when you enter MMA. Because I'll be honest, I feel like when you have elite boxing skills, it can take you a long way in the UFC if you can mix everything else with that. Because there's so much you can use from boxing that you can implement into MMA that will cause a lot of fighters problems. Because I'll be real, there isn't a lot of guys that have high level boxing skills in MMA, which boxing skills includes the hands, the IQ, foot movement, distance, range, etc., etc. Diego Lopez doesn't have any of that. I'm sorry, he does not have any of that. He's very one-dimensional. His punch, even when he was throwing his right hand, it weren't even as if he was throwing it properly. Man was just, it looked like he was going like that half of the time. Clearly him and his team didn't have a game plan, which was poor going in against someone like Alexander Volkanovski. Listen, and this is not to take anything away from Alex Volkanovski, because he fought a good fight. He looked good. I still feel in some moments Volk looked a bit old, but he performed very well. Um, yeah, I wasn't too excited with this fight, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Lopez just didn't have anything to offer. His skill set is, and I'm gonna be honest. If Ilya was still in that division, I think Ilya runs that division. I think he beats Diego Lopez. Not necessarily stops him, but it would probably be a Josh Emmett kind of fight where he completely dominates him, because his overall MMA game is poor. I'm gonna be honest. He threw about 3 leg kicks, and I feel like, especially with someone like Volkanovski, if you threw more leg kicks, it would have stopped the constant movement of Alex Volkanovski. Because at the end of the day, even before Volk, even when Volk got knocked out, he still looked good. I'm not gonna lie, he looked good before he lost them 2 fights he lost by KO. He looked good in them fights. So it's not even like Volk's is a washed up fighter. It's just, boy, yeah, he got caught. But Diego Lopez, I'll be real. As long as Volkanovski is in this division, I don't think Lopez ever gets the belt. Sorry, guys, I've been ill, as some of you would know. But yeah, shouts out to Alex Volkanovski, first man over the age of 35 to win a championship in the lighter weight classes. So that's from lightweight and below. So shouts out to Alexander Volkanovski. Going forward, I think Movsar Evloev is the fight to make. But I'm going to be honest, the featherweight division is in a weird spot. Yair Rodriguez wants a rematch with Volkanovski. I don't really see the point of that, and I think Yair should at least fight another 1 or 2 fights before he gets the title shot. But I'm not really excited about the featherweight division. I feel like it's in a very weird spot right now. But yeah, great performance from Alexander Volkanovski. Lopez, you got a lot to work on. Because I feel like you're still a level behind the elite. Lopez needs to add more to his game. He really does. But we move on to the co-main event, which was Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. A great performance from Paddy Pimblett. I was not expecting that. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was not expecting domination like that. Paddy looked too strong for Chandler. And that's surprising, because Michael Chandler has fought top 10 contenders since the day he stepped into the UFC. And no one, I mean, literally no one, has put on a dominating beating on Chandler like Paddy Pimblett did. So I have to commend Paddy Pimblett on that. I was one of the doubters. Yes, he's a fellow Englishman. I should support the homies. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be brutally honest. People can say what they want about me. I know Paddy was saying after the fight, doubt me now. What else will you say? And he had a little run-in with Colby Covington after. And I'll be real. I completely agree with what Colby Covington said. And it's surprising that I'm actually agreeing with something Colby said, because that guy speaks nothing but trash. But Michael Chandler is 2-6. Let's even double check that. Let me double check that. Let's actually check that. One, two, three, four. So in Michael Chandler's last 6 fights, he's won 2 and lost 4. So I'm not being funny, guys. As much as it was a great performance by Paddy, I still think Paddy has a lot to prove. The thing is, Paddy is very big for the division. He did make Michael Chandler look quite small. I'm not gonna lie. I think, look, Paddy's ranked number 7. Ilya needs a ranking, so just make that fight. I think the UFC should just make that fight. I don't want to see Paddy fight. Paddy's not fighting Dustin Poirier. We know that. I don't really want to see Paddy fight Justin Gaethje. When they panned in on Justin Gaethje, when Paddy was calling people out, Justin looked a bit worried. I'm not gonna lie. That would be an interesting fight. Obviously, he called out Arman. I think Arman absolutely ragdolls Paddy. That's just my opinion. But I think they should make the Paddy and Ilya fight. I think it makes sense. There's a storyline there. And whoever wins that potentially, like if Paddy was to beat Ilya, even though he's not ranked, it gives him that level of stardom that, you know, he can. Put it this way, if Paddy beats Ilya, he could potentially fight one more time. Let's say early 2026. Then he gets a title shot mid or late 2026. So, you know, I think Paddy and Ilya is the fight to make. And then if Ilya was to beat Paddy, boom, he's ranked number 7. Boom, he can fight one of the top 5 contenders. And then after that, potentially get a title shot. So, yeah, shouts out to Paddy, but honestly, I still feel like he has a lot to prove, because at the end of the day, Michael Chandler's 2-4. Paddy's been fighting older guys who, let's be realistic, are on the way out. So, as much as I commend Paddy for a dominating beating on Chandler, I have to commend him on that, because I was not expecting that. And I did think Chandler would potentially beat him in the first 2 rounds. I got to give shouts out to Paddy. So, you know, shouts out to him, but I still feel he has a lot to prove. All right, cool. We move on. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricia Pitbull. And again, guys, what I thought would happen happened. Again, Chandler's buddy from Bellator, Patricia Pitbull. When these guys cross over to the UFC, it's been shown time and time again that the UFC is here and every other organization is down here, because it showed in this fight. Patricia Pitbull did not have an arm. And listen, people can't say sorry guys, this illness has got me. I'm on the mend, but it's really got me fucked up, man. But Patricia Pitbull didn't have an answer for Yair Rodriguez. I'm not gonna lie, he was having a very hard time with the reach, but that's not an excuse, because Volkanovski dealt with Yair, and I believe Volk and Pitbull are roughly the same height. So, you know, I mean, Yair didn't really do anything spectacular. He fought the way Yair should fight. I mean, how he usually fights. He throws very unorthodox kicks, because obviously he's coming from a taekwondo background. So, good performance, nearly stopped Patricia Pitbull. But Pitbull's a dog, held on, found a way to hold on. I mean, good performance by Yair. I don't think it was anything spectacular. Apparently, Hunter told him he's getting a title fight next. I don't think that's right. But yeah, good performance by Yair. I ain't really got much to say about that fight, because I still think Yair probably loses to Volk if they do make that fight again. But who knows? I could be wrong. I ain't got much to say about that fight. I think it was lacking. Yair did what he needed to do, used his range, used his unorthodox kicks. Yair was quick as well. It was as if Pitbull was scared to close the distance. It's similar to the Michael Chandler Paddy Pimblett fight. It's like they just couldn't deal with the range. But yeah, I ain't really got much to say about that one. We move on to Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. And I'm going to be honest, MMA Guru, you scammed all of us into believing we should believe Bryce Mitchell should win. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys, I picked Gene Silva to win. But after watching MMA Guru, I thought, yeah, you know what? Bruv, I lost a fucking 8-leg from the opening fight. I tried to win big, and it didn't go to plan. Let me even show you guys. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it because my light might block it out. But if anything, I'll include it in the video, yeah? No, it wasn't an 8-leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what I put, guys. I put £5 down, yeah? And I would have won £2,094, 3 pence. And from the opening fight, everything just went left. So I put money on Bryce Mitchell to get a submission because that fucking MMA Guru led all of us to really believe Bryce. And I'm not going to lie, Bryce in the press conference, I can't lie, he started to make me believe, you know. Because when he was saying stuff like, oh, I've put enough dogs down in my day, I was thinking, yeah, God's really on your... And you know what makes it worse? Gene Silva got a submission on Bryce Mitchell, bro. That's what makes it even worse. The fact that I put money on Bryce and everyone thought if there's anyone that's going to get a submission, it would be Bryce. But Gene Silva got it. And the thing is, he was threatening the whole fight with submissions. To be completely honest, I think Bryce Mitchell you could see he was scared. He was on his horse, running the whole fight, basically. He just didn't really fight smart. It's like he was just fighting on instinct. Even the way he shot for a couple takedowns, poor. Absolutely poor from Bryce Mitchell. I'll be honest, that was a terrible performance. Shouts out to Gene Silva. Gene Silva couldn't really get his strikes off like that on Bryce. He caught Bryce a few times, but he didn't really do much. It was quite a boring fight. But Gene Silva gets it done by submission, which was shocking. But shouts out to Gene Silva. He's ranked now, so he's someone I think could potentially beat Volkanovski. But the only thing I wonder about is the grappling exchanges, because Volk does look very strong. I'm not gonna lie, he does look very, very strong. But yeah, not much to say on that fight. Shouts out to Bryce Mitchell. He tried, but it just wasn't enough. And Gene Silva gets the submission. I believe it was ninja choke. So yeah, shouts out to him. And then the last fight on the main card. Well, the first fight, but the last fight we're going to talk about on the main card is Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. And again, guys, MMA Guru, you scammed me, man. And it's funny because when I done my predictions, I actually picked Dominic Reyes. Because of MMA Guru, I watched his predictions. And I thought, you know what? He's picking Nikita Krylov to win. A few other people are as well. So you know what? I'm going to put money on Nikita Krylov to get a KO. And what happens? What happens, guys? Dominic Reyes comes and puts Krylov out in the first round. quick and easy. Like it was, I believe it was a left hand. It was clean. Well, like clean, put Krylov out straight away. Yeah, I don't know why went against my initial predictions, but yeah, good performance by Dominic Reyes. He made it look easy. So he gets the number 8 ranking right now. After that, that light heavyweight division is in a weird place. But yeah, Dominic Reyes is climbing the rankings. Let's see if he can get himself back to the top. But yeah, we move on to the prelims. I'll be honest, I'm going to talk about the prelim. I'm not going to do the early prelims because I didn't even get to watch them. I need to buy UFC Fight Pass to watch that. But yeah, Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. One, I think it was an early stoppage. 2, Sean Woodson. You're another guy that let me down, man, on my bets. So all of a sudden, Sean, you forget how to use your reach. I've watched your last 2 or 3 fights now. You're 6'2". You was bullying man that are my height. The 5'8", the 5'7", even the 5'9". But against Dan Ige, you forgot how to use your range. But then again, I'm saying that, guys. But Dan Ige is no scrub. He's been in there with the best of the best. So, I just thought from what I've seen that Ige would have a hard time with the reach of Sean. Because Sean, I'm not going to lie, usually he's good with his range. But fuck you, nigga. You let me down. And it's mad because Dan Ige, from what I saw, I'm not going to lie, and I've seen the scorecards, he was dominating. Sean, fuck you, Sean, man. Early stoppage, I'll give you that. But you was losing the fight, bro. And Ige was landing some good power shots on you, so I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, just fuck you, man. Then we move on to Jan Janan versus Werner Jandroba. I thought Jan would win, but Jandroba put on a very great performance. I'll be honest, she out-wrestled Jan big time. She nearly got the armbar twice. And I'll be honest, Jan, she I just think she's levels behind, man. Yeah, she just headhunts too much. I don't feel like there's real structure to the way she fights. Like, she's not a shit fighter, but boy, she got out wrestled, and it was quite bad, to be honest, because it's like she had no answer for it, and she kept getting herself back into positions that were bad. So I ain't got much to say about that fight, but Jandroba, I'll be real, she ragdolled you, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. So yeah, she's gonna be ranked number 1 now. Will she fight Zhang Weili? Let's see. I don't know. Or will they give Zhang Weili a super fight? We'll see. I still feel, even if they don't, Zhang Weili probably beats Jandroba. I just feel like Zhang Weili's levels ahead of everybody in the women's strawweight division. But cool. Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. I mean, listen, Chase Hooper did well, but I feel like he was chasing the submission too much. I feel like he should have let it come a bit natural, because again, I put money on you to get the submission. But the first fight I put money on, and you let me down from the gate. So even if my other bets had come through, would have lost from the jump. I wouldn't have made no money because of you, Chase Hooper. So I'm blaming you. You cursed my 5 leg. You did. But other than that, good performance by Chase Hooper. But my issue in that fight was that you're fighting someone as experienced as Jim Miller, and every time you was like threatening submissions, Jim knew you was threatening submissions, so he did well to defend them and stop that. So I feel like you should have, because your striking has gotten a lot better. So I feel like Chase Hooper should have trusted in his striking a bit more, you know, maybe try to get some ground and pound, and in the process of getting the ground and pound, you look for the submission. I feel like with someone like Jim Miller, if he's expecting it, because he's a seasoned vet. As much as he's lost bare times, he's still a seasoned vet. He's been around the block, so he knows. And I believe he's a black belt, so he knows what he's working with when it comes to grappling and submissions and whatnot. I just feel like with some guys, yeah, like Jim Miller, when you fight guys like them, you can't be blatantly chasing the submission. Like, and especially with someone like Chase Hooper, where people know, cool, he can get the submissions. I feel like you should have trusted in your striking a bit more and set up the submissions from your striking. Strike, and in the process of you striking, get some takedowns. Then go back to your strike and mix it up so it confuses Miller. Then you can get the submission because he doesn't know you're going to chase the submission. But for me, it was a bit too obvious he was trying to get to the submission. Other than that, good performance from Chase Hooper. Darren Elkins, we move on to Darren Elkins versus Julian Erosa. I'll be honest, guys, I saw the fight briefly, but I was in the middle of doing something, so I'm not going to talk too much about that fight. The card as overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It was a good card. Obviously, we got 315 coming up soon, and we got Gary and Pratas, I think, in 2 weeks. So, yeah, it was a decent card. Obviously, I live streamed I did a watch along basically for the first time. If you guys want to see more of that, comment below, like and subscribe as well. Yeah, man. Like I said, if you enjoyed the watch along, those of you that did tune in, that was my first live stream. So yeah, if you want to see more videos like that, comment below. But we got some interesting fights coming up. We've even got Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn, so look out for my predictions on that. But it's big games, guys. In a bit.